Hello.
Hello people, Jugglet here, and yes, you all voted, 1,500 of you to be exact. We could have had Art the Clown from the Terrifier, or the iconic Candyman, or even a modern day horror character such as the Nun. But no, we have a landslide vote of around 44% for Bruce, the shark from Finding Nemo. Total screen time somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I've had to delve into the depths of my brain to figure some way of making this work, and well, here goes. Introducing the diver, Philip P. Sherman, a dentist with a passion for diving, delved too deep into the ocean. He stumbled upon an old sunken shipwreck surrounded by mines. His eyes glazed over as the horror unfolded before him. The entity was already in the process of pulling a gigantic undead shark into his realms. This shark could not be tamed, however. Bruce, who needed a master, and Philip was the one cruelly chosen. Twisted and tangled together by fate, the diver woke to have his body fused together with chains and an old copper diving suit. One hand had been severed, with a crudely put together copper spiked ball replacing it. A large overflowing bucket of flesh attached to the front of his heavy diving suit, and beneath the surface of the entity's realm the remains of Bruce lingered. Okay, so that's his backstory. Spoiler alert, Bruce has died in another mine explosion whilst the dentist from Nemo was out looking for more fish to rescue. How does his power work? The diver and Bruce are a ranged killer with a slight twist. So the diver has a terror radius of 32 meters and Bruce has a terror radius of 16 meters. However, Bruce is under the surface and his terror radius is only apparent when he has emerged. This killer moves at 110% movement speed with a secondary movement speed of 98% whilst winding up his secondary power. The diver has a basic M1 attack and his secondary power is Chum. You start the trial with 10 pieces of rotten flesh in your bucket. He winds up similar to the clown's bottles and can throw rotten meat onto the ground or onto a survivor. If you get a direct hit on a survivor with the rotten meat, they become inflicted with bait. 8 direct hits on a survivor with the chum will cause Bruce to leap out the earth and instantly put the survivor into the dying state. This isn't meant to happen often, it's similar to the Sadico's Condemned but without the death side of things. However, you can use the rotten meat to bring Bruce out in a different way. Throwing the meat onto the ground will cause Bruce to bite through the earth and eat whatever is in his path. If he bites a survivor, they're injured and suffer from the deep wound status effect. Once Chum has connected to the floor, 2 seconds later Bruce emerges from the ground, chomping pallets instantly or biting a survivor. His fin is always visible to survivors, so they have time to react. It'd be a high skill cap ability, so you throw a bit of meat on the floor, 2 seconds later Bruce pops out, bites a survivor or bites a pallet or hell, bites whatever he wants to bite. It's Bruce. If you do manage to M1 or injure 3 different survivors, or the same survivor 3 times if they've been healed, so similar to the Oni's power, you're building up something, you gain a new ability which can be used at any time. Frenzy. Press the secondary action button which will cause Bruce to go into a frenzy, his fin shredding the earth as he moves. In this mode, any survivors not in chase but who are injured and bleeding will attract Bruce from anywhere on the map if they're sprinting. Stay still and Bruce will circle you from under the ground. After 10 seconds, your aura will be revealed to the killer. If you do move during this time, Bruce will hunt you down and bite through the ground, putting you in the dying state. You can perform actions and you can crouch walk, but sprint at your own risk. Bruce moves at 125% movement speed with no terror radius and only a large fin will indicate his whereabouts. Frenzy lasts 50 seconds. If Bruce puts a survivor into the dying state, frenzy ends. If Bruce reveals an aura of a survivor, frenzy loses 5 seconds of its time. If no survivors are injured during the frenzy, he will go where the noise is, for example generators or people sprinting, and circle those areas revealing the survivors' auras for 3 seconds. An example of how you could play this killer, you could approach survivors at the start of the trial and begin chase. M1 a survivor, and as they're trying to vault a pallet or some form of loop, you can pre-throw your meat, causing that to be a death sentence in 2 seconds. So they don't vault it and you get a second M1. Or they throw a pallet and you manage to place your meat perfectly, breaking the pallet and the survivor at the same time. Bruce being the big boy that he is, he will hit a large area, maybe the same size as the clown's base cloud, which isn't absolutely massive, and then you have got time to react with the 2 seconds and see where his fin is, so it would be like a high skill capability. You throw the meat, you see the fin coming towards the survivor, so if this is from the survivor's point of view, he will emerge, biting you, or maybe you manage to juke it, do a little spinny spin and get out of the way. This killer would work as a nice mix of the knight / clown, hopefully without the annoyance of the knight. Anyway, onto his perks. Perk 1 is Hex Deep Ground. 2 trick totems spawn at the start of the trial. If one of these 2 totems are cleansed, all windows and pallets are blocked for 40 seconds. Perk 2 is Blood on Your Hands. Once a survivor completes a healing action on another survivor, their aura is revealed to you intermittently for 8 seconds. This is a map-wide ability. Perk 3 is Food, Not Friend. Once you have hooked all survivors once, the first survivor you hooked is shown to you by Killer Instinct for 3 seconds and is exposed for 60. I hope you enjoyed this ridiculous concept. I think going forward I won't put any wild card suggestions in, as I usually like doing concepts for killers I actually think might make it into the game, and I doubt we'll see a Nemo chapter anytime soon, but if we did, then hopefully Bruce and the Diver weren't too far off. Like, subscribe, and other YouTube things. Take care.